Hey everybody, this is Frosty here with Black Gaming, and today is of course going to be the E3 wrap-up for 2012. So today we saw 4 press conferences. We only have one more to go, and the press conferences in the order were Microsoft, EA, then Ubisoft, and to finish it off was Sony. Now, I really think that some of these press conferences were good, and some of these were just god-awful. So I'm just going to go through each press conference, and I'm going to give my overall opinion on the thing. Really, I just want to see what Nintendo has in store for us tomorrow, because that's really the only one that has left. And I think Nintendo does have a lot to work with. I think Nintendo really is going to be powerful, but we'll see about that tomorrow. Let's get to the ones that were today. Okay, the first one was Microsoft. Now, Microsoft had the worst press conference this year. I'm just going to tell you that they had the worst, the most awful press conference ever. It pretty much started off with Halo 4. Halo 4 looked okay. However, I mean, to start off with it, I mean, I know it's your game franchise. I know it's like the game that you take the most seriously. However, there really wasn't much to Halo that made me want to be like, oh my god, you know? It was just very generic, very overused, and I mean, it looked okay at first, but then again, looking at it, it's meh at best. The next game that they showed, however, was Splinter Cell Blackwater. Splinter Cell Blacklisted. I think it's Splinter Cell Blacklisted. I'm sorry if I screwed up the name, but the new Splinter Cell game that came out, that looked really good. When I saw the gameplay footage, it looked pretty awesome. I thought for first it was a Spec Ops game that was coming out, because it was like in the Middle East and stuff, and it was third-person view. But when I saw Splinter Cell, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be pretty good. And overall, it was. However, I think this is gonna be a 360 exclusive. There may be a PC port like they did with Conviction. However, they might screw it up, which is not something I like to say, but sometimes that does happen. Really, overall after that, it was really boring. There was some Kinect stuff, and there was this Nike sort of thing, and I literally wanted to fall asleep. It was that bad. I mean, I haven't seen any worse press conference in my entire life. It was like I'm sitting there and I'm just zoning out because there was nothing there. And I think for the Kinect exclusive games, I think there was one, and it looked it was like for kids and all, but I'm not gonna really say too much about it, because I mean it looked decent, but nothing I would play. Of course, it's a casual game. The surprising part is that they did show they did show more of the South Park game, which is an RPG sort of game, and it looks really cool. I think South Park and Halo were pretty much the highlights of the series, the whole press conference. And after that, it just was nothing. There was nothing else to it. I think Black Ops was at the end. However, that didn't impress me at all. I'm not really a Call of Duty fan anymore, like I was with the original ones, like 4, not... Well, I mean original, I mean like the one that started at like 4, and then World at War, and then after Modern Warfare 2, I kind of just lost interest. So yeah, Microsoft was just terrible, and even the stuff that they did show, also like Resident Evil 6, it was good and all, but I mean you could show that for any press conference. I don't know why they showed it from Microsoft per se. I think you get I think it's because the demo comes out July 3rd, which I can't wait to get. But you know, I mean, it was okay, but overall, the Resident Evil demo was okay. But Microsoft's whole press conference was garbage. I couldn't believe how bad it was. So next on the list, we have EA, and EA was exactly the same way. It was just I couldn't believe it. It was stupid. How EA pretty much had video games throughout their thing, unlike Microsoft, and it was again really boring. I really didn't see anything new. I think they had like an improved version of the football club or something like they had before. Mostly all sports games, which I do not play any sports games at all. I just think sports games are boring, repetitive, and it's just a quick way to make money. Dead Space 3, I don't know. I think they kind of ruined Dead Space with this one. I mean, Dead Space 3 looked okay back then. I mean, I have to. I just gotta play a little bit more. But Dead Space 3, it went from a survival horror to an action thing. Sort of like Resident Evil. But, again, I don't know, however, and how it's gonna be when it comes out. But, really, there was nothing else at that. And even the Crysis 3 gameplay just looked so generic. I mean, what made Crysis so popular is not even visibly shown in Crysis 3. Crysis 3 just looks like another generic first-person shooter game, and they really killed the series. And sadly, the graphics on Crysis 3 actually look worse than the maxed out settings of graphics in Crysis 1. Same thing with Crysis 2. Crysis 2, the graphics were lower than Crysis 1. And Crysis 1, that's the reason why it was so popular, because of the demanding graphics and a whole new different atmosphere of gaming, which the new ones don't have at all. They were really dull, really bland. I know I'm cutting their things short. I only said like a few things about them, but then again, there was nothing else. Oh, they mentioned something about Star Wars, the Old Republic stuff, like some free content and all, but it was just, no, it wasn't that great. Okay, so next one was Ubisoft. Oh god, well, Ubisoft was good, but the intro, it was terrible. And just like Microsoft, I forgot to mention this earlier, so I'm going to put it in now because it makes sense. So they did mention 2 Kinect games. They mentioned this one mini game where you shoot catapults and you destroy other people's castles or something. I don't know what it was called, but it was some generic Kinect game. And then they had Dance Central 3. Again, Dance Central, it was like Dance Central 1 and 2 were exactly the same. Now they made a third one. And of course, Ubisoft had to do Just Dance 4. Dance Central 3 had Usher, and the whole song went on for like 4.5 minutes. It was like, what the hell? I mean, you're at a video game conference and you have Usher sing a song for like 4 minutes. That's overkill. And then when Ubisoft did it, it was like a Flow Rida. Why? Why do you guys do this? It's not the MTV Music Awards, it's E3. Why did you have these? I could see having the guest artist maybe sing like a minute of their song. That would have been okay. But the whole 4 minutes? What the hell? That's like killing it right there. But Ubisoft was really good. I have to say, I was really impressed. And really, the one game that was really a shocker was the last game they showed was Watch Dogs. That looks amazing. And really, I mean, that game, I think, was optimized for the next-gen consoles. And I'm pretty sure if you get on the computer before it comes on the next-gen consoles, it's going to have superior graphics. And they're going to look amazing. And I really think that that Watch Dogs game is really going to do good when it comes out. What else did I forget to mention? Oh, I forgot to mention a lot so far. Oh, Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 looks really good. I never played the first 2. I gotta play those, especially on my computer. I heard, I know they made Far Cry, I think, ports onto the consoles, but the computer was the original, so I'm just gonna stick with the computer versions. And then Far Cry, I see it, again, that's another game that was like console, a PC to console, was Far Cry, because Far Cry 1 was only on the computer. And then they made Far Cry 2 on like all of them. I don't think it's really a necessarily bad thing, but it takes away from the value that the original game had. Then they had Assassin's Creed 3, which looks amazing. I was really a big fan of Assassin's Creed in the original games, but this one just blows it out of proportion. I'm so glad that they brought it to colonial America, and the game just looks phenomenal. I think I'm going to pre-order it right after E3's over with, probably tomorrow. I'm probably going to go to Best Buy, probably pick up some stuff. and that's going to be one of the pre-order things I want to do. I also want to unlock the reward zone sort of membership. Uh, so Ubisoft again was really good. Assassin's Creed was awesome. Watch Dogs was good. Far Cry 3. And even the Rayman Legends game for the Wii U was really interesting to see how they implemented Wii U controls with the new games. And there was also some shooter game. Oh man, I forgot what it was called, but it was like one of those like Ubisoft like online action games. And I mean, it was a computer game, I think, and it looked pretty good. I mean, it looked like one of those free like Counter-Strike sort of games, but it looked interesting. That was another thing that I really hate about E3 is that they showed the same thing for computer, but they were Facebook games and they were like for casual gamers. E3 is not a casual gamer affair. Well, you could put casual games in it, but really to put Facebook games in E3 is kind of like a kick in the face because, I mean, they're not. I don't want to like consider those games because they're not really games. Yeah, they sort of are, but they're not. They're like sort of like application like things that kill time, like Bejeweled or something like that. I'm sorry, but if you buy a thing on your phone, I don't consider a phone a game console at all. I mean, it's not like a Game Boy or 3DS or Vita or PSP or anything like that. But before I get out of proportion, Ubisoft was really good. Ubisoft, like I said, if it wasn't for that intro, they probably would have been one of the better. They probably would have maybe beat Sony, but I'm not sure yet with that because I think Ubisoft. I mean, there were some good things that Ubisoft showed, and really, I think they. Oh yeah, that's another thing that they showed, which was pretty cool, was Zombie U for the Wii U exclusively. I think that that's gonna be pretty good. I don't know how well it's going to be, but it looks cool. Okay, so the last press conference that we had was Sony. Now, Sony was by far the greatest game. The Last of Us, oh my god, that was the thing that blew it out of the roof with God of War Ascension. And then they also made another game with the people who made Heavy Rain. That looks really good too. I can't believe I'm forgetting these names right now, but that was a really cool game. And I want to say it's something with an S. Like, oh man, I can't think of it right now, but it has that girl Ellen Page in it she's a famous actor. But I like her character in the game. It looked really cool, and I like the whole concept of the game where like you could pretty much like control like life and death. You have like these special powers. It's really cool. And PlayStation All-Star Battles, even though it is a Super Smash Bros. Clone, it does look fun. I mean, I would have never thought I'd see Kratos beating the crap out of like Nathan Drake, or even Sweet Tooth just beating the crap out of like Fat Princess. You would never think of that, but Sony made it possible. I do think that then they showed the wand, the spellbook thing. I mean, it was okay, but it was so dragged out. They should have did it like maybe for like 3 minutes. They took it for like 7 minutes. It was a little overkill, but like again, I wasn't too upset with that. And I like how they mentioned that PlayStation Plus is getting better. They are going to have Infamous 2 as one of their free games. That is amazing. And I also saw that Just Cause 2 and some other games were going to be free on PlayStation Plus, which is amazing considering that it's really worth it. They also mentioned that I think everyone at the event was going to get 1 year free. I don't think we get any of that, but if we do, that would be amazing. Really, I think Sony really took it out of proportions this year. Sony really did the best job, and really, if there was anything that the Nintendo could learn from Sony is pretty much that really just the whole fact that they pretty much made like games that were casual, games that were hardcore, but basically focusing on their main concepts of the system. And I'd like to see what Nintendo gives for us tomorrow, which would be very interesting, and I really want to see how well they would do. So to conclude up this video, I don't want to make this too long, but I would say first place goes to Sony. Sony did a great job. Their exclusive games look phenomenal. I wish I could remember the game that was first. I can't believe I forgot it. But The Last of Us and God of War Ascension look pretty awesome. Next up would have been Ubisoft. Ubisoft, if it wasn't for that intro, might have been tied. But Assassin's Creed 3, Far Cry 3, and of course the last game that they showed, Watch Dogs, was unbelievably awesome. And I really like the whole part of like you can control like city lights, you can control like cell phones. It's like electronical grids. This is amazing. And I really wish that Watch Dogs would have come out this year. But again, great games take time to make. So I don't care if this game comes out in 2013, 2014, or 2015. If the game's going to be amazing, it's going to be amazing. Third place, which really isn't third place considering they both sucked, but I'd say Electronic Arts, because at least they showed games throughout their whole entire presentation. And Dead Space 2, no, not 2, Dead Space 3 did look somewhat interesting. I'm not sure if it would hold up to its values, not values, it would hold up to its expectations, but it looks okay. But the worst was by far Microsoft. Microsoft bored me to death. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree with me there. It was just pretty much all Kinect, the stupid extra apps that really no one's gonna use, and maybe a few key games, including like Halo 4. They did mention the new Gears of War, which I didn't bring up earlier, but I mean the trailer didn't impress me. And there was some other God of War, like Lord of the Rings sort of game that was like Microsoft's take that was going to be on Windows phones too. But the actual press conference was just sad. And one thing that Microsoft should learn, they should really learn from Nintendo and Sony, especially, maybe Ubisoft. Don't follow suit like Electronic Arts. And just remember, like, don't pressure something that doesn't need to be pressured. Don't keep pushing the Kinect, because people who bought the Kinect are going to be the only people who want to buy the Kinect. I mean, yeah, Splinter Cell has that cool feature, but why can't I just use my mic to use this voice feature? Why do I need a Kinect? There's nothing like I have to wave my arm or anything, and I really think it's just one of Microsoft's cheap ways to get you to buy a Kinect. Again, Kinect really for me doesn't sell anything. Kinect is like a mediocre sort of thing. PlayStation Move sort of the same way, but PlayStation Move is a lot cheaper, and they didn't really pressure it. I mean, they made one game, but again, they're gearing it towards families that who wants it. I mean, they're not trying to gear it to the hardcore gaming audience, because like they don't want that. And Kinect, they're trying to pressure handheld, not handheld, but like a device that's not for that suitable type of gamer. So if Microsoft should learn, please, please do not pressure the Kinect on us. And next year, please make it entertaining at least. So, well, I'm going to be making another video tomorrow about Nintendo. I'm going to also see about the new game trailers that are coming out. And I'm probably going to discuss that along with pretty much today, what I'm talking about right now. And maybe I'll post stuff around through the rest of the week. I'm not sure yet, but well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for Nintendo's E3 wrap-up.